Chapter 1 notes, functions. So today we're going to look at new vocab words. One is relation, another is a function, and we're going to learn about a test called the vertical line test, which helps us determine if a relation is a function. So first, the definition for a relation. A relation is simply any set of inputs and outputs. And you could think of these as x's and y's, where x's are the inputs and y's are the outputs. So any set of points is considered a relation. So as long as you have a set of inputs and outputs, a set of points, you have a relation. A function is a very specific type of relation. So it's a relation where each input has only one output. So basically, something's a function if every x value only has one y value associated with it. If you have a situation where you have a relation where two of the points have the same x value but different y values, that is not a function. And that's where the vertical line test comes in. The vertical line test says if a vertical line hits 2 points of a relation, that relation is not a function. Okay. So let's look at a couple examples here. This first one says, are the following relations or functions? Don't worry about the domain and range right now. So you can see this is a table. It has inputs and outputs. You can think of the inputs as x's and the outputs as y's. Notice there are two x's that are associated with different y values. So we have an input 1 going to 1, and we have another input 1 going to 5. When that's the case, we do not have a function because we have an input that has two outputs. So this would be considered a relation. Okay. Any set of inputs and outputs is a relation. So we're only looking for the more specific case here of a function. For the second example, you'll notice that all of the inputs, which are the x's, remember, all of the inputs are different. Okay, so if that's the case in a table, it's automatically a function. Okay, to not be a function, one of the inputs would have to repeat and then have a different output with it. Okay. Moving down, here are some graphs of relations, and we're going to see if we can say they are. So on this first example, this is where we'll use the vertical line test. Draw a vertical line through the graph, and that's a straight up and down line. If that vertical line touches the graph, 2 or more times, then we cannot say that that's a function. We'd say that that's a relation. And we only have to hit those 2 points in one spot. So if you look at the second example here with the 5 dots, I could draw a vertical line here and it only hits 1 point. I could draw it here, it only hits 1 point. Here, it only hits 1 point. But notice when I draw one here, it hits 2 points. If it hits 2 points in any location on the graph, we can only say it's a relation, not a function. If you look at the third example, however, any place I draw a vertical line on this picture, I only hit the graph once. That is a function. Okay, each x only has one y. Bottom left example, You notice on this circle, there's a bunch of places where if I draw a vertical line, I hit the circle twice. So that cannot be a function, that is a relation. And then this graph, the fifth one, is a parabola. And it goes on forever and ever in these two directions. But any place I draw a vertical line only hits the parabola once. So that is a function. Okay? So whenever we have an x that can be associated with two different y's, that cannot be a function. That can only be a relation. I want to say the bottom 5 pictures here, actually, and the 2 tables above them, all of those are relations. Okay? It just so happens that there are a couple of them where I can give you a more specific answer with a function. Okay? So all of these are relations, but if your relation passes the vertical line test, then we can additionally call it a function. Okay? Good luck with functions and relations.